Namaskar. I express my gratitude to the Indian Mission for hosting my talk to commemorate the 155th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Today, the world is celebrating the UN International Day of Nonviolence. The entire world is remembering Mahatma Gandhi, the apostle of peace and nonviolence. We have an opportunity to remind humanity of the efficacy of the messages of Mahatma Gandhi in this crisis driven world looking for peace. Mahatma Gandhi's leadership and his commitment to peace, nonviolence, and harmony with nature possesses the power to stir the souls of individuals, inspiring transformative changes that transcends international borders, space, and time. As a leader of India with global influence, he set the standards by which the world often judges us. There is significant international interest in understanding Mahatma Gandhi and his profound impact on the world through his use of nonviolent methods for peace and social reconstruction. Gandhiji's practical application of nonviolence, both in his personal and public life, continues to inspire people globally. Many are eager to learn more about his approaches to organizing and mobilizing individuals. The 21st century presents us with new challenges, as daunting as those of the past, despite the advances brought by industrial, scientific, technological, and information revolutions. He began his crusade against racialism, colonialism, religious fundamentalism, and violence in the early 1900s. We must remember that Gandhiji's frail figure still stands as a symbol of a new mass movement for justice and freedom, and his philosophy is gaining renewed relevance today. His contributions towards creating a just world are both compelling and profoundly important in our current era. In today's interconnected world, any conflict between nations inevitably impacts the entire globe. The path to lasting peace lies in nonviolence. We must foster a sense of solidarity by seeing all human beings as our brothers and sisters. This is essential for building a more peaceful world. Gandhiji championed the rights to freedom, dignity, equality, and freedom from bondage, poverty, untouchability, and discrimination, values that are the essence of human rights. Mahatma Gandhi had said, and I quote, "When I despair, I remember that all through history, the ways of truth and love have always won. There have been tyrants and murderers, and for a time they can seem invincible, but in the end, they always fall. Think of it always." Unquote. The Gandhian philosophy of ahimsa, non-violence, satyagraha, adherence to truth, sarvodaya, welfare of all, swaraj, self-rule, and trusteeship are foundational concepts for a just world. These principles not only shaped the notion of universal human rights, but also influenced the UN Charter in 1945. Many of Gandhiji's ideas anticipated the holistic thinking behind the 2030 UN Agenda for Sustainable Development. He promoted peace and nonviolence not only as a philosophy and political strategy, but also to achieve social justice and change. Gandhiji's important contributions to a just world is very compelling and relevant to the world then and even now. In today's turbulent times, violence manifests in many forms, from the destructive impact of the climate crisis to the devastation of armed conflict, from the indignities of poverty to the injustices of human rights violation and the brutalizing effects of hate speech. Human rights are essential for building a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world. They are at the core of the United Nations Development Programme and its effort to help countries achieve the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the SDGs. More than 90% of the SDG targets align with human rights obligations, envisioning a world where everyone's rights and dignity are respected, ensuring that no one is left behind in the progress of development. He believed that the true nationalism should contribute to global progress, not be rooted in hatred. His constructive programs aim to build the nation from the ground up through nonviolent means, focusing on improving socio-economic conditions in India through self-reliance, rural development, and social justice to restore human dignity. Although these programs were implemented more than 90 years ago, they continue to hold relevance in the 21st century as the world strives to achieve the SDGs. By embracing Gandhiji's principles of restoring human rights, self reliance, local empowerment, and holistic development, we can find enduring solutions to the complex challenges addressed by the SDGs. Gandhi's legacy serves as a powerful reminder that sustainable development is not just a goal, but a continuous journey towards a just, equitable, and harmonious world. Mahatma Gandhi's core values of truth, non-violence, purity of means, diversity, dialogue, and mutual respect remain deeply relevant today. His ideology of universal peace and non-violent conflict resolution continues to resonate globally. We can learn from the Gandhian perspective, draw inspiration from his example, and apply similar approaches to achieve peaceful outcomes in service to humanity. More than half a century ago, Mahatma Gandhi sought to break the cycles of violence and reprisal. He argued that what distinguishes us from brute beasts is our continuous striving for moral self improvement. Humanity stands at a crossroad, and as Gandhiji asserted, we must choose between violence, the law of the jungle, or non violence, the path of kindness. Today, the world has an extraordinary and unprecedented opportunity to open a new chapter in human history. Mahatma Gandhi is universally regarded as an exemplary model of ethical, spiritual, and moral life, uniquely blending personal and public principles with practices that bridge the immediate and the eternal. He viewed life as an integrated whole, progressing from truth to truth daily in moral and spiritual stature. He believed in a single standard of conduct founded on the dharma of truth and nonviolence. He successfully led nonviolent struggles against racial discrimination, colonial rule, economic and social exploitation, and moral degradation. As long as these manifestations of violence persist, Gandhiji's relevance endures. To Gandhiji, ethics, morality, virtue, values, dharma, and spirituality are overlapping, even interchangeable terms, and are concerned with the way we live. He said, and I quote, I do not believe that the spiritual law works on a field of its own. It expresses itself only through the ordinary activities in the economic, the social, and the political fields. Unquote. The Gandhian principles of ethical, political, economic, and social behavior offer a broad framework for society. His practical idealism, irrepressible optimism, respect for all life, and unwavering commitment to truth and nonviolence can guide us all towards self realization or self actualization. Only by embracing these values can the world hope to make the 21st century a century of peace, fulfill the millennium sustainable development goals, and realize the fundamental values of freedom, equality, solidarity, tolerance, respect for nature, and our shared responsibilities. Gandhiji once wrote, and I quote, I know the path. It is straight and narrow. It is like the edge of a sword. I rejoice to walk on it. I weep when I slip. God's word is, He who strives never perishes. I have implicit faith in that promise. Unquote. How does the younger generation remember Mahatma Gandhi today? Is it as the leader who guided India to freedom through satyagraha and non-violent civil disobedience, or as a global influencer who impacted people worldwide? Perhaps they see him as the prophet who warned the world leaders that there is enough for man's needs, but not for man's greed, or as the humble figure in a loincloth who captured the hearts of millions across India, or the bespectacled man who penned more than 100 volumes of original thoughts, or the saintly figure at the spinning wheel. He left an indelible and powerful mark on humanity. His name has become synonymous with nonviolence, social justice, and civil disobedience. In his public life in three continents, Asia, Europe, and South Africa, Gandhiji emerged as a voice of the voiceless that inspired social reformers, political thinkers, and fighters for individual liberty and human rights all over the world. World leaders ranging from Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Father Kunz, George Bernard Shaw, Cesar Chavez, and there is a galaxy of men and women in different parts of the world who took a leap from Gandhiji to fashion their initiatives for ensuring justice and fight discrimination in the name of color and race. And with Gandhiji, the fight against human rights took a new turn. From violent methods, the movement turned to the non-violent campaign, which Gandhiji believed would be the weapon of the strong and not that of the weak. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. was greatly influenced by Gandhiji and used the same principles to obtain civil rights of blacks in America. He had said, and I quote, "If humanity is to progress, Gandhi is inescapable." Christ furnished the spirit and motivation, while Mahatma Gandhi furnished the method. Through our pain, we will make them see their injustice. Unquote. Throughout his life, Mahatma Gandhi sought solutions to resolve conflicts through interreligious and intercultural dialogues. He had a profound respect for world religions and formed lifelong friendships with people from various faiths. Gandhiji took the time to study, reflect, and engage deeply with different religious traditions and communities. He did not see humankind as static or destined to remain in the same place. He believed that despite setbacks, humanity would continue to progress. This faith in the potential for human growth inspired him to dedicate his life to serving others. For him, divinity was the essence that inspired humans to rise above challenges. He believed that everyone is capable of fostering peace in the world, as we are all interconnected and interdependent. He also believed that moral degeneration is the root cause of all evils, including conflicts. This conviction fueled his lifelong commitment to promoting moral values such as truthfulness, nonviolence, purity of means, love, self control, respect, forgiveness, friendliness, compassion, and mercy. He stands out as a champion not only of political democracy but also of economic and spiritual democracy in today's world. Internationally, Mahatma Gandhi continues to inspire people who see him as a master strategist and an exemplary leader whose ideas and tactics can be applied globally for the betterment of human society. These leadership qualities made Gandhiji a standout figure among the leaders of his time, and there are significant reasons why he remains influential even after 7 decades of his passing away. Mahatma Gandhi is one of the few leaders who continues to inspire millions with a global impact as one of the most influential change makers in the world has ever seen. Gandhian ideas and ideals remain profoundly relevant in the modern era, offering solutions to today's pressing crises such as inequality, social instability, widespread unrest, the concentration of economic and political power in the hands of a few, and violence stricken society. Drawing inspiration from Gandhiji's thoughts and experiences can provide a path to resolving these issues peacefully. It has often been said that there is hardly anyone on this earth whose life has not been influenced in some way by the life and teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. This is because no other public or political leader of our time so clearly understood and confidently embraced the challenges of the age in which we live. Mahatma Gandhi offered the possibility of reform without destruction. He recognized the inherent dignity of every human being, regardless of how humble, poor, or oppressed, as the foundation for meaningful political and social progress. He applied the principles of universal truth and nonviolence to new contexts, shaping the course of history and guiding humanity towards a more rational and compassionate existence. For 50 years, he was a beacon of hope for oppressed people of all nations, races, and creeds. He did this by first undertaking nonviolent civil disobedience against colonial rule, second, championing the cause of human dignity, and third, leading the movement for peace. He sought to spiritualize politics by elevating it to a higher moral level and embedding these principles into everyday life. His legacy is defined by his unwavering faith, courage, and determination to serve humanity through adherence to the path of dharma or righteous conduct. As Gandhiji said, and I quote, the whole gamut of man's activities today constitutes an indivisible whole. You cannot divide life, social, economic, political, and purely religious, into watertight compartments. I do not know of any religion apart from human activity. It provides a moral basis for all other activities, which they would otherwise lack, reducing life to a maze of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Any activity which fails to conform to the moral law would not only defeat its own real but harm humanity. Some friends have told me that truth and nonviolence have no place in politics and worldly affairs. I do not agree. I have no use for these as a means of individual salvation. That economics is untrue, which ignores or disregards moral values. As a matter of fact, there is no such thing as an individual in isolation. Gandhiji conceives of man as a social individual. His individuality comes out best when he works for social ends. He said, and I quote, I am endeavoring to see God through the service of humanity, for I know that God is neither in heaven not down below, but in every heart. Unquote. Mahatma Gandhi was a deeply rooted person in Indian traditions and ethos. He was intensely spiritual, a perfectionist, punctual, prompt, efficient, sincere, and hardworking leader. Above all, Gandhiji achieved remarkable success while remaining grounded in ethical leadership. The greatness of Mahatma Gandhi lies in his spirituality and his unwavering belief in the strength and vitality of the soul, especially at a time when destructive forces seem to dominate. To me, Gandhiji is not just a collection of dry thoughts and maxims, but a living presence who represents the highest levels to which a human being can aspire. He embodied the best of the past, lived fully in the present, and envisioned a better future, which gives his ideas a timeless quality. Much of what he said and wrote was intended to address immediate problems, while some of his teachings provided inner guidance for individuals. He crafted his ideas as tools, tested and refined in the laboratory of his own life. Gandhiji's entire life was dedicated to action, aimed at bringing about meaningful transformations. While he experienced both successes and failures in his endeavors, he always moved forward and never gave up on his quest for social and spiritual improvement, both for individuals and for the nation. Today, Gandhiji is remembered not only as a political leader, but also as a moral guide who appealed to the universal conscience of humanity. He changed the world, and his impact is evident in the way global leaders, inspired by him, have drawn from his life and work to shape their own efforts to promote peace, ensure justice, and combat discrimination. He derived immense pleasure from all the activities he engaged in, whether it was writing, editing his newspapers and books, spinning on the charkha, doing manual labor, walking long distances, or even enduring imprisonment. He truly enjoyed whatever he was doing, fully immersing himself in each task. For him, the path itself became the goal. In Mahatma Gandhi's own words, and I quote, satisfaction lies in the effort, not in the attainment. Full effort is full victory. Unquote. This is a key quality of transformational leader. The core of Gandhiji's leadership is universal and timeless, applicable to all of humanity. He believed in the freedom of every individual, allowing them to grow without hindrance towards full self realization. He sought to abolish any form of exploitation of one person by another, considering both exploitation and submission to it as a sin against the fundamental law of our existence. I express my thanks to the Indian Mission for hosting today's talk to observe the UN International Day of Nonviolence and Gandhi Jayanti. My special thanks are to all of you who have joined me today. Namaskar.